am, I will, and I can. Listen and say it to yourself. Sanskrit and Russian, for some reason, were so interconnected. Jnana, знание, смерть, смерть. Do you see there are these particularities? I figured out the code for raising that level of mindset when we are in the full mindset to magician. There are people all around us, here and there, we meet them, they are so damn successful. How do they do it? They just know something. Do you know which quality really unites them? They all have that in-depth knowledge within them. So now we will be discussing the affirmations. What are the powerful affirmations attributed for these amazing card, the Fool? I discovered for myself that there are 3 affirmations, the most powerful ones, which I can use in order to raise myself further from the level of the Fool to the next level of the cycle. So listen to these attentively. I am, I will, and I can. I am, I will, and I can. So I am, and you leave nothing after that. But listen and say it to yourself and leave that nothingness at this particular moment. I will. You leave that nothingness after your willingness at this particular moment. And you listen to the space. And then I can, and you do the same. That's how you start clearing out the space. You know, I figured it out when I was in Thailand, and I really fell in love with their musical instruments there. Probably many of you who maybe ever traveled in that Asian part of the world, you were fascinated by their musical precious instruments there when they just like have those bells there, ringing bells, and they, especially in China, I believe so, it was very, very interesting. There is just one long singing sound of a bell, and then it just clears out the space. Those bells, there's those small bells from Thailand or from China, and they are in all those local temples. It's extremely amazing sensation when you enter those temples and you listen, you hear those bell ringings all the time. It's like you feel like your whole essence is being cleansed out of everything, and you unite with something eternal. And then truly, when I was standing there, I somehow figured out, oh my God, now I realize I am, I can, and I will. And this brings me down to that eternal cycle of all creation. And I realize that I am truly connected to, listen to another word which I say to you, Atma, Atma, Atma. Now, Atma from Sanskrit, it's self. It's that higher self. Now, Anatma, it's non-self. It's that ignorance, avidya, which we are here. I was fascinated by starting the Sanskrit earlier in my life. I'm not the expert there. However, I studied well enough in order to really synchronize with many words there. And I know Russian language perfectly, and I was really amazed how those 2 languages, Sanskrit and Russian, for some reason were so interconnected. Because only through understanding the Russian language and learning Sanskrit, I figured out the code for raising that level of mindset when we are in the full mindset to magician mindset. It's the deep knowledge, power of your language. So in Sanskrit, it's jnana. It's the power of knowledge through words. Jnana. So in Russian, it's znание. It's very, very interconnected. And then in Sanskrit, we have смерть. And in Russian, there is смерть. Do you see there are these particularities which are quite similar between these 2 words? Смерть and смерть. Do you know what смерть means in Sanskrit? It means memory. In Russian, смерть means death. So it brought me to that understanding that when we got circled into our memories, all the hints are there. Basically, when you start studying those languages. So it's quite interesting because you start interconnecting all that, and then you connect it to the tarot cards, to the ancient knowledge there, and something, the puzzle just appears. So that puzzle appeared in front of me, and that was like, oh my God, if I got stuck in all my old memories, I never ever can giving rise to my next card, which is Magician of these creation. And we are all fascinated when we see those magicians. And we all know there are people all around us, here and there, we meet them, they are so damn successful. Everything is so easy for them. They are like magicians, literally miracle workers of these creation. How do they do it? Why I got stuck into this hamster cycle again and again and nothing works for me? Why I am always on the edge and why I'm always balancing while looking at these guys, right? Look how powerful they are. They literally maneuvering through this reality and everything seems to be so easy for them. It doesn't mean they are all the good or the bad, right? They just know something what this guy doesn't know. Clearly, they broke the cycle of their memories and they started the in-depth study of the further cycles. All the powerful investors into this world are really magicians. Do you know which quality really unites them? My husband started studying all those guys and then I got curious about that and I started studying them as well. After reading a ton of books from those guys, actually, I realized one uniting quality of them. They all have that in-depth knowledge within them about the subject where they are into, no matter which subject into. This guy doesn't have in-depth knowledge, this guy has it. Okay, so that's the in-depth knowledge defines the jump from one card to another, and this guy is willing to get out of the cycle while this one is holding over the previous memories. Okay, alrighty, so I'm leaving you with these 3 powerful affirmations to contemplate. I am, I can, and I will. Repeat it, write it down before sleep, and see what happens.